All right, welcome back to Beyond the Yellow. Today I have Zach Keisler of Military Missions in Action in North Carolina. I
Yeah.
don't want to pronounce the city so I don't butcher it.
Fuquay Arena.
Fuquay Arena.
Yeah.
All right. And Zach, I want you to go ahead and tell us about what Military Missions in Action does.
Okay, we're a local North Carolina-based veterans nonprofit. We have four main programs that we provide for veterans. Our Fill the Foot Locker program is backpacks for homeless veterans, toys for kids at Christmas. We used to do care packages overseas in that program, but we can talk about that a little bit later, how we got away from that. We also have our Operation Building Hope, which is handicap ramps and rails for veterans, their family members, children, widows. Our Homes for Healing program is really what sets us apart from any other nonprofit in the state. We pick up furniture locally within 35, 40 miles of Fuquay and deliver it to formerly homeless vets who have gotten permanent housing, most of them through the HUD-VASH program, but some, there's others that get it from, other agencies, things like that. And we outfit them with everything they need when they move in, down to the bath mat, toothbrush holder, microwave, dishes, everything.
Wow.
And then a program that grew out of that program is our Warrior Wagon program, which is a transportation program. Think Uber for vets.
Okay.
No cost transportation to non-emergency medical appointments, drugstore, grocery store, job interviews. We can even take them to work if they need it, things like that.
Wow.
So
You
that's,
guys have your hands in a lot of cookie jars.
yeah, yep. Luckily, I have a good group of volunteers. We only have 7 employees of Military Missions in Action, 2 full-time, myself and Mindy, who is our director of operations. She's my right hand. She makes sure everything's running smooth and keeps me on track. Then I have 5 part-time employees, a bookkeeper, a warehouse manager. We have a small office in Moore County, Southern Pines area. If you're familiar with golf, where they do, the PGA offices in Southern Pines now, their headquarters.
Wow.
And a couple other people that help us with the furniture program. So I have a good group of volunteers, and that's what really allows us to do as much as we do.
Yeah, having a good team and the right people in the right places is, it's just so important.
And it's critical. I mean, when, especially for me, because I depend so much on volunteers, having volunteers that show up, like I have some office volunteers that show up 3 days a week. I got a lady, the program manager for the Homes for Healing program is a volunteer, and she's at the warehouse every day at 6 in the morning, sometimes earlier, 7 days a week, sometimes, getting stuff ready for the next week. So yeah, definitely having a good group of volunteers that's bought into the mission makes a big difference, because they want to be there and they want to help.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to talk about here is, these organizations don't just magically appear.
Right.
What was the journey and all that for kind of starting Military Missions in Action?
MMIA was started in 2007 is when they got their start. We got our IRS letter in 2008. Coast Guard retiree warrant officer Mike Dorman, he was a general contractor at the time when he got out of the Coast Guard, and he just saw the need of the veterans coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan that wasn't getting met in a timely manner, and that's the key thing, timely manner, from the VA, and wanted to do something about it. So he sold his Harley Davidson, got some of his buddies together. One of them had a rollback wrecker. They're still a good supporter of us, Tilley Brothers Body Shop. They went down to Jacksonville, North Carolina, around Camp Lejeune, and fixed a roof for a veteran's house that was leaking. Like he had a hole in his roof, like water was coming in. And it kind of snowballed from there. Before we were able to rent warehouse space, the furniture program was run out of Mike's basement. The guy that I took over for, that's how I started. I started with the furniture program, Homes for Healing. Told me that when they would do a delivery, they would have to pull all the furniture out of his basement to get what they needed and then put it all back before they left to go deliver it.
Oh, so, my gosh.
Yeah. And it just, Mike was a special man. I think everybody in the town of Fuquay knew him. He would not tell anybody no. If somebody needed something, he would do whatever it took to make sure they got it. And one of his big things was, even though we're a veterans nonprofit, we got to be good stewards of the community. And if there's somebody in need, we help them. We try not to turn anybody away. If they don't fit into our programs, we can find somebody that can help them. We have a big network. We work with any nonprofit that'll work with us to make sure people are getting taken care of.
Nice. And I like that, as you're saying, you guys are here for veterans, but you're not going to turn away other people. Like you're here to help. Hey, if someone's in need, they're in need. This is our focus, but we're not staying. You're not getting blinders on to the rest of
them. Yeah. We have a board of directors, and they're a good group of people. They really support our mission, and they give me a lot of leeway in how things are done. They're not involved in the day-to-day, activities of how I do what we do. So I get a lot of grace from them for how things are done, and that makes a big difference too.
That's awesome.
Yep. And my journey, I'm a veteran. I did 5 years on active duty, got out, joined the North Carolina National Guard, worked full-time for the Guard as a dual status technician. So I had to be in the Guard, but I was considered a civilian employee, even though I had to wear the uniform.
Yeah.
After my second deployment, I got medically discharged, but I was able to keep the job as a contractor. So I did another 5 years after I got medically discharged with the Guard as a civilian contractor, and the contract ended, and I went to work at a place in Fuquay. I don't want to drop any names, but I hated it. It was crushing my soul. I mean, honestly, and I told my wife one day, I was like, I can't keep working there. And she was like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I'd like to do something helping vets. And I'm also a member of the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association, CVMA.
Okay.
Excuse me. And I was the chapter commander for the Raleigh area for a while. And I had met Mike Norman through that, and I was familiar with his organization. And my wife said, why don't you call Mike? Do something, see if he's got something. So, excuse me, throat's got a tickle in it.
No, you're good. Still a little early in the morning.
Yeah. So I called Mike, and I was like, hey, Mike, you got any jobs available? And he said, yeah, it's moving furniture every day. And I was like, all right. So I came in, and at that time, Mindy was the director of operations. I met with her, and to be honest, I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't doing this job, but I've never had a job that gave me the job satisfaction of this.
Right.
Yeah, we have warehouse space in an old tobacco warehouse. Fuquay is a tobacco town, so there's several old tobacco warehouses that are converted to storage spaces. Excuse me. And we rent space in one of them. And it's hot in the summertime, it's cold in the wintertime. But when you go to somebody's house and they have a folding chair and an air mattress, if they're lucky, and when you leave, they have everything they need to live in their house.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
That's got to be so powerful,
Yeah.
For that person living in that environment with nothing, like I can't help but think of the value that would put on yourself. You'd be like, man, this is a representation of me and how much I matter. And then you guys come in and give them so much more. It's giving them more than furnishings and they need. It's giving them value.
Yes, it is, and it's making they have been homeless, and now they're fortunate enough to have 4 walls and a roof. But what is that if you don't even have a plate to eat off of,
right,
or a chair to sit in, So I feel like it gives them a start to move on from, even though they have a place, they're not homeless anymore. It gives them a start to move forward.
Yeah. And I think that's so important, is that it's not just giving them a place to live, a place to stay. You're giving them more value, more of what they need to live there, not just to exist, but to live.
Well, let me give you an example. We did a delivery down near Charlotte, which is about 2.5, 3 hours from here.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there. The guy we were delivering to wasn't home. So we called him. He was on the bus on his way home from work, asked us, will we wait? We're like, yeah, man, absolutely. We got there. He started helping us unload stuff, and we handed him a microwave, and he broke down in tears. He had been walking every day 3 blocks to a convenience store to heat up like frozen biscuits, for breakfast. And it's, just, I remember when my grandparents got their first microwave, I was like, I don't know, 5, and I've never been without a microwave. I mean, it's something that I've taken for granted my whole life, but something just as small as a microwave can make a big difference in somebody's life,
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, because it does create a huge impact in. I can't even imagine that. Yeah, having to go anytime you need to heat something up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Walking that far, that's, man.
Yep.
That's pretty amazing. And one of the things you were talking about earlier, that you guys are like the way they started, getting furniture and just storing it in someone's house. I think that says so much to the heart of what you guys are doing, because a lot of times people think that it's so big, like these problems, these things that we want to address, like, oh man, it's so big that we can't do that. How do we even start?
Yeah.
And you're talking about, you guys are doing all of these things for vets, and you're doing it, sounds like, not just in your local area there, but several hours away.
Yeah, we all of our programs are statewide in North Carolina, except for the transportation. Now we just started that about a year and a half ago, so we're trying to grow it. But it's we've delivered furniture from Wilmington, which is the coast, to west of Asheville, which is the mountains. So you know we're all over the state.
And it doesn't take, I mean, you know, I think about when this guy started this, you know, if he was sitting there thinking like, oh man, we're going to do all this, we're going to have it be statewide, we're going to do all this stuff, it could seem so unattainable.
Oh yeah.
But he started by focusing on what he could do on like, hey, I can go collect some furniture, store it in my basement. Easy, you know, and you do that. And that's, I think, what's so cool is these little things that we do. It starts it. Yeah. And then it just gets the ball rolling and rolling. And yeah, I think it's an amazing testament to the mindset that it takes to do something like this. In your time being there, specifically as you've been kind of leading the show, how have there been any like barriers, obstacles, you know, specifically things that are like unforeseen, things that you didn't expect were going to be struggles?
Yes. Okay. Being a nonprofit that doesn't generate income, funding is always a struggle. You know, that is my main job, is making sure we have money to keep the lights on and, you know, all the programs rolling. But trying to think, getting support for our transportation program. I had, let me give you a little background on it. During the housing crisis and COVID, we started noticing that the places we were delivering furniture to the vets started moving from urban to rural areas.
Yeah.
And a lot of the vets, I'd say 95 to 99% of them, did not have transportation. They relied on public transportation to get everywhere they needed to go. And we actually had some vets call us and want us to come back and get their furniture because they were going back on the street because it was easier for them on the street. I mean, you know, what good is it to have a house that's 20 miles from a grocery store and you can't get to the grocery store?
Right.
Excuse me. Or, you know, a lot of these, you know, they have mental health appointments, you know, doctor's appointments they can't get to. So, a guy that works for the VA Service Center, Moses Gloria, had been talking to me about starting a transportation program. And I told him, you know, when I can get the money to do it, I will. You know, it's quite an undertaking to find a handicap van, you know, the insurance, the gas, somebody to drive it, somebody to manage the program. And we worked with the state to get a grant. And we got a lot of pushback from the state that transportation wasn't a need. Well, it didn't take long to realize how wrong they were.
Yeah.
We've done over 500 trips so far this year, and I've turned down probably 3 times more than I've been able to help.
Right.
So getting the right people to buy into starting a program like that was a challenge. And volunteers, you know, getting volunteers that are physically able to move furniture on a daily basis is another big challenge. I have a lot of volunteers that want to help, but they're just not physically capable of moving furniture. I mean, it's a very physical job. Sometimes it's carrying a couch up 3 flights of stairs. And that's been a challenge to keep that program, going with volunteers.
Yeah. It's interesting because as you say that, and this is something I hear a lot on these is that, people are having trouble with getting support, with getting, and it's specific type of support. No one's struggling with getting verbal support.
Yeah.
Anyone is going to be saying, hey, this is great. That's amazing. I want to do this, but when it comes to actually doing the work, that's where it often just stops.
Yes. Yep.
It's interesting because you think about so much here, like you're talking about people moving things or driving someone to an appointment. Realistically, if every person who said, hey, this is amazing, I really support what you guys are doing, if every person was like, you know what, I'm going to do one trip.
Yeah.
I'm driving one vet to an appointment. If everyone just picked one time to do that, you'd probably have more support than you need.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just if it say one day a month, I'm gonna help somebody do something, no matter what it is. It would make a huge difference. Now I have been lucky. We have some corporate supporters that Harkins Builders. They do large scale building projects. They got guys in Raleigh, Charlotte, and Asheville, and we can call them and say, hey, we're doing a delivery in Asheville this week. Can you guys help? And they'll send 5 or 6 guys out to help unload the truck. So,
wow,
that's
awesome.
Yeah, and having normally we roll out with 2 or 3 people to do the deliveries, and when you get 5 extra hands out there, it makes a big difference. It'll make that delivery go from lasting an hour to 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, something like that, I feel like you get. Hey, you think about there's got to be high schoolers or college kids, get some strong guys that would be open to doing that. And it's interesting because there is so much opportunity there.
Yep.
And this is where I find this so interesting, the dynamic in our society, because there's no shortage of people saying they support these things and they want to help.
Yeah.
But then it's like, all right, we've got all these people that want to help. We've got all the options for them to help, and in so many ways. And trying to connect that, trying to bring that together so that we don't have that kind of a disconnect.
Yeah. One thing I did, my son went to East Carolina University, which is in Greenville, about 2 hours east of us. And his fraternity used to come out and help do deliveries, around the Greenville area. When we would be in that area, I'd give them a call and be like, hey, we're going to be at this address at 10 o'clock. Y'all want to come out and help? And they would always show up. We actually used them when we wanted to add, like at our warehouse, the owner will pretty much let us do whatever we want at the warehouse. He's on our board, and we've been in his warehouse for 10 years. So, he's bought into MMIA also. We wanted to add on to the little office we had in the back corner. So my son's fraternity came in and framed it out. And then the Harkins Builders, they sent a bunch of their project managers over, and they did all the wiring. And then me and some of the other volunteers, put up the sheetrock and all that. But it makes a difference when the volunteers can see the difference that it makes.
Yeah.
Like doing like the Harkins guys, they see they get to see the veterans and see the difference that it makes when we show up with the furniture. Matter of fact, one of my son's fraternity brothers he's doing an internship at like a box company. They manufacture cardboard boxes. And I needed some boxes. So I called him and ended up getting the boxes from him at a pretty good deal. But he sent me a letter afterwards telling me, how much he enjoyed helping with the organization when he was in college, so.
Nice. Well, and that's what's cool is, what you're showing here is all these examples of people that are getting in and helping, that there's not a lot. I mean, it's not that hard.
No.
Someone just, hey, we're going to go move some stuff. We're going to get you some boxes there. And there's so much opportunity when we make it more attainable, when we make things smaller, and I think that's where a lot of people will end up thinking like, oh, well, I want to help. I want to do this, but, I can't commit to every weekend, or I can't commit to all this. Like, just go out and do one thing.
Yeah. One day helps, no matter what it is, helping at the food bank or, whatever charity nonprofit you decide to get involved with, one day makes a difference,
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
I think what's cool. Oh, go on.
It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time,
Yes.
That's how you do it.
And I like how your nonprofit, like there's a lot of nonprofits where people will donate money and you don't know exactly where it's going.
Yeah.
If you donate to Wounded Warrior Project, great company.
Yeah.
But who knows what that's actually doing, because they're doing so much, big stuff.
Yeah.
And what you guys are doing, people can really see that, like you can, like, hey, this is going towards buying furniture. Hey, you donated that couch. We are taking that to someone in the community. We're doing, like, it's much more tangible and visible. And I love that. Yes. I think it's really good for you guys. One thing you mentioned earlier, you mentioned the care packages.
Yes.
And it sounded like there was something there. So I want to make sure we kind of come back to that.
Yes. When I started with MMIA, we were sending care packages overseas. As a matter of fact, kind of a funny story, Mindy, who's our director of operations, I deployed with her brother twice and did not know it was her brother until I had worked here like a year and a half. And I actually got care packages from MMIA when I was overseas before I even knew who they were.
Oh my gosh.
We were sending, small world. Yeah. Yeah. Matter of fact, it was her brother and her cousin were both in my National Guard unit.
Wow.
But we were sending on average about 4 pallets of care packages. So about 500 care packages a month were going out, to Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, wherever we had troops, we were sending care packages. And after Mike Dorman passed away in 2021, we continued to do that. And then when the troops came back from Afghanistan, it kind of slowed down. We weren't sending as many, but at one point we were spending about $30,000 to $40,000 a year on just shipping the care packages. Now we got most of the stuff for the care packages for free. We have old World War II wooden foot lockers. That's why we call it Fill the Foot Locker program.
Okay. Yeah.
We put them out in businesses, churches, anybody that wants one. We have like a poster board with a list of the things we take in it. We worked with another group that here in North Carolina that only did care packages. That was all they did. And we would trade stuff. Like we would get like at one point we had pallets of baby wipes, and we would trade her baby wipes for whatever she had extra pallets of, like Girl Scout cookies. And I talked to her and I told her, we needed to get out of the care package space because it was costing us so much money for shipping. And what we ended up doing was taking basically the same stuff that we were using for the care packages and started focusing more on homeless backpacks. We had been doing the homeless veterans stand downs, where they bring all the veterans from the homeless veterans in an area and try to get them services, things like that. We were doing those across the state. So we just shifted focus from care packages to homeless backpacks. And we actually, not only do we give them out at homeless veteran stand downs, but anybody that needs backpacks for homeless vets, we'll give them to them. I work with other nonprofits, and it's not uncommon for, other nonprofits to come to us and get backpacks to hand out.
And that's got to be, that's got to be so impactful for you guys that you're not just serving the community as your nonprofit, but you're feeding into other nonprofits that are going out and helping as well. The reach.
We will work with any nonprofit that will work with us. You'd be surprised. There are some sharp elbows in the nonprofit world. I'm sure you've probably run into it. What do they say? Rising tides float all ships. If I can help somebody help veterans, why not? That's what we're here for. They're still around. They don't do it anymore. There was another nonprofit in Wake Forest, which is about, just to give you a little example, Fuquay is south of Raleigh. It's like a suburb of Raleigh. And then you got Wake Forest, which is just north of Raleigh. The Joel Fund was up in Wake Forest, and they were a new nonprofit, and they were doing furniture like we were. And we got in touch with each other. I met Brooke, the founder. We got to talking and realized we could work together to, with the furniture program. So what she was doing was hiring a moving company to, pick up or to deliver the furniture for her. And what we did is, if we had furniture going somewhere where, she was going, they would come get our furniture and deliver it to the vet. Or if we were going somewhere, we would get the furniture and take it for her. Or if she was short something, we'd give her whatever she needed, and vice versa.
That's awesome. That's the kind of collaboration that really works and helps both sides.
Yeah. And I think they realized that it was not their model wasn't cost effective with having a moving company do it. And to be honest, storage space, especially around this area, is expensive. It's our biggest expense by far. We rent 30,000 square feet in that warehouse. When I took over, when Mike died, his half brother had another warehouse, and we had about 40,000 square feet of stuff in that warehouse. Because I said Mike wouldn't tell anybody no. That meant if somebody wanted to give us something, he'd take it. He also wanted to have a thrift shop, and we had enough stuff to start a thrift shop, but we just couldn't afford any retail space around here.
Right.
The retail space is, too expensive to make it work, around here right now. But I had to get rid of that 40,000 square feet of stuff and figure out what we could use, what we couldn't, and cut it down. And I think I made a lot of people mad because they were used to bringing everything to MMIA, old doors, windows. We used to do home repairs. We don't do that anymore. Clothes, we don't do anything with clothes. And I had to explain to them, look, I had to basically half my storage capacity. And if I can't use it for our programs, I can't store it. I can't pay to store it,
Right.
So that was a struggle too.
Yeah. And that's interesting because you hit so many points there that I feel like a lot of nonprofits have to kind of deal with and go through. And it's one, being a good steward of the money.
Yep.
And your resource that you have, but also making sure you're not overextending, like talking about not doing the home repairs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not, but the more things you focus on, it makes you less
right
at certain other things.
Well, one of the reasons we did home repairs, Mike was a general contractor, and he liked doing that. That was, he really liked going out and fixing people's houses for them, which, it's a great thing. And if I had the funding, I would love to do it again, but unfortunately I don't. And
so that makes it hard when you don't have the specialty person there anymore. And the other thing I love is, like you're talking about the backpacks. That's something that, it took a lot probably to go, hey, this is a big thing that we do, and saying, hey, we're not going to do it anymore. Not because it's not good, not because it's not helpful, but because it would be better served over here.
Right.
And you think about, man, that much money in just shipping.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And you can put that towards the community.
That shift in funds went to help the transportation program. One of the reasons we were able to get out of the care package is there's so many people doing it.
Yeah.
That if we stopped, nobody's going to notice, and I looked at that hard, because the volunteers that packed the care packages, they showed up 3 days a week, every week, to pack care packages, and they were not happy about it. They were, they let me know, and I had to explain to them, look, one, the need is not there as much anymore, and two, we're just shifting focus from care packages to backpacks. Y'all are going to pack now, instead of boxes, you're going to put stuff in backpacks, so and it's going to go to homeless vets.
Yeah. So it's kind of a seamless transition there. When you did that, did you, were you able to keep everyone that was packing?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Good. I love what you're saying there, because, this whole Beyond the Yellow thing is ultimately who would notice if we kept doing this or if we stopped. And that's, I think, the big question in support for so many things is, we say, hey, I support this, but would anyone know if you stopped?
Yeah.
Does your support actually produce that positive impact? And the troop care packages thing, I think, is so interesting, because that's something that no one would say is not impactful.
Right.
I was going to agree that it is.
Yep.
But you're taking this thing and saying, hey, this is what we're doing, and it is impactful.
Mm-hmm.
But there is so much of that going on that our piece of that pie is so small that it's insignificant in comparison.
Right.
We can make a much bigger impact over here.
Yeah.
And that, I think for any organization to take something that they've been doing for a long time and taking the humility to say, hey, this is something we've been doing a lot, but we need to shift. We are not maybe the best ones to be doing that, and we can do more work, do better work, and more impact over here. That is a very, very impactful way to run things. I love that.
Yeah, and one of the I guess I'd call it a guiding principle is being good stewards of our donors' money. You know, one thing we pride ourselves on is we're very transparent. Like all of our financials are online, and I tell people, no matter who you give money to, whatever charity of your choice, look them up online. GuideStar, Charity Navigator. If you can't find them there and their financials aren't online, there might be a reason. You know, we're highly rated on both, and it's important to us because I feel like if we show our donors that your money is going to where we tell you it's going to help vets, they're going to continue to give. You know, I remember when Wounded Warrior went through their whole thing back in the day where it found out what 10 cents of every dollar was going to the vets, you know. I think that still people still remember that, you know.
There's a lot of people I know who, man, I think they felt burned by that. And even when you tell them, hey, they've changed, they're doing things differently, and they're like, no.
Yeah. And see, it doesn't take but one thing like that to, luckily, you know, Wounded Warrior was able to turn it around and they're still here. That would destroy this organization. Like, you know, there wouldn't be an MMIA if something like that happened. So we're very transparent. We just had our financial review for 2025, and 86 cents of every dollar goes back to programming for our organization. And that's something, you know, we pride ourselves on. We're a small organization, but we're able to punch well above our weight because we use volunteers. We're smart with our money. Now, I wish I had $1 million marketing budget where I could have a commercial and radio ads, but I don't. And if I did, it would take away from the veterans, you know?
Yeah. So, and that's a hard thing, I think, for a lot of nonprofits is that balance of, hey, we want, because I think every nonprofit out there has started with the right intentions.
Yeah.
Now, there's probably some, maybe not, but I think most of them do. And, you know, you go through the struggles of, hey, we want to do this. We want to get the word out there. But especially starting out when you don't have much funding.
Yeah.
Or maybe none, and you're self-funding and you're trying to promote it. So like, all right, how do we promote while still being good stewards of money, not blowing everything on outreach?
Yeah.
That's a very difficult thing to do. And then I think a lot of them, you know, they get to that point where, all right, now we have a budget. Now we can start marketing and doing things. And then you start getting more people on, and all right, now let's get a big building. And that overhead can start cutting in. And of course, then you got people going, okay, well, look at everything we're doing. Let's pay ourselves more. And, and I don't know that I would, be any different. I can't say because I haven't been there, but it's hard to see how some of them kind of lose their way.
Yeah.
In that. And it's unfortunate because there are so many nonprofits that they start out really good, seeming well, and then you find out that they're not being good stewards with that.
Yeah.
And I've known several in the veteran community where you find out what they're doing is like, man, you guys are saying you're doing this stuff, but you're not. And that's tough.
Yeah.
It's very hard to see.
And there's also a lot of nonprofits. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but they shuffle paperwork.
Yeah.
They're basically an intake. You know, they're like, okay, the veteran calls us, we find out what they need, and oh, great, MMIA can get them furniture, or, you know, whatever organization can help this person. And they get a lot of credit and they make millions of dollars a year, but like how boots on the ground are they actually out there helping veterans, you know?
Right.
And that's what frustrates me, because there's a few like that in North Carolina, and, you know, they got hundreds of employees, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what they do besides shuffle paperwork. You know, it's frustrating when I'm, you know, I got guys that are out in the heat sweating, delivering furniture, and I got vehicles driving around taking vets to appointments, and I see XYZ charity over here getting a check for $1 million, and I'm like, what do they do?
Right. And especially in today's day and age, it would be so easy to have, like, if that's, because part of me is going, okay, I get it. If those organizations weren't there, then maybe there'd be less people actually getting the help because they're not getting directed out. But at the same time, how easy would it be to just have a website that doesn't require a whole ton of people to do this? You just have a simple website. Hey, military missions in action, you guys reach out. We're going to create a link on our website for you so that people can come in here and they can see, all right, here's my location. Here's the service I need. Oh, there's the organizations that do it. And then, the money they get, they can disseminate out through other places. You know,
there is something like that website you say. It's called the Unite Us platform. Have you ever heard of it?
I've not.
It's nationwide, and it's free for nonprofits, and you can go on there, register, put what services you provide, and then you can add vets on there, like or clients on there. If they, let's say somebody comes and needs an air conditioner, you know, you got a vet or a client that doesn't have an air conditioner, you can put that on there, and if somebody that's registered, one of the providers, does AC work, it'll send them an email, say, hey, this person in Unite Us, and that's a free platform. I don't know who started it. We've had it ever since I've been here. We've been a part of it ever since I've been here, and I didn't realize that we could put clients into it. I knew we always, you know, got requests for service. And I was talking to Stacy Buckner, who runs another nonprofit, and she also works for a group called Volunteer Services of the Carolinas. And I went to a training on Unite Us because it'd been a while. You know, I hadn't been like in the trenches, you know, with the vets since I've been running the organization, and found out we could put clients in there for stuff. When they call us, instead of my volunteers Googling, where they're at and what services they need and trying to find them somebody, we just started putting them in Unite Us.
Nice.
And, they get usually within 48 hours, somebody responds. But the problem is the money doesn't flow with that,
Right.
So
yeah, well, that's again, it's hard. It's hard for these smaller. I say smaller, like the regional nonprofits that it seems like the better you are at being a steward of your money, the less people are going to know about you.
Yeah,
which is kind of a catch-22, and especially in the veteran community, we're already dealing with a pretty untrusting group of people.
Yeah.
And then when you have all these organizations out there that are not, they're just there to collect the money, they're taking advantage, or so many scams in the veteran community. So it gets to the point where it's like, man, this is it hurts all the organizations that are doing the right thing. And I wish people could see that, where they see that, hey, like military missions in action. I've never heard of them. You know why? Because they're out there actually doing the work.
Yeah.
But guarantee there's a lot of people that do know about you guys. A lot of people that are better off.
Oh, yeah.
Because of it. And that's kind of the measure there is who would know, whose life would be less if you guys weren't there.
Yeah.
And if you're out advertising and marketing, maybe people might know if you're like, oh, hey, I haven't seen their ads in a while. But would anyone's life be less off?
No. And I would rather our work speak for us than, having a celebrity saying, donate $10 a month to MMIA with Sarah McLaughlin playing in the background. I think it, and like you said, it is a double-edged sword. I would love to have the advertising and marketing capacity to reach everybody in North Carolina and let them know what we're doing, because we are helping vets all across North Carolina. Here's a great example. When we had the hurricane out in Asheville, nobody expected the mountains to get devastated by a hurricane.
Right.
Somebody reached out to me through my motorcycle group. There was a vet that was on oxygen, had an oxygen machine, but no electricity, and needed a generator to basically all he wanted was one that could run his oxygen machine. Problem was getting it to him because all the roads were closed. So I was like, let me see what I can do. My chapter was taking stuff up there, they did a collection, and we were sending stuff up to the people in Asheville and the surrounding areas. So I went and got a generator, got it on the trailer that was going up there, and another guy from another chapter put it on a dirt bike and drove it to that guy's house.
Oh my God.
And he was, he got him a generator and some fuel, and was able to make sure this guy had his oxygen. How many other nonprofits can get somebody on a motorcycle, a dirt bike through, pretty much impassable terrain to get a generator to somebody that needs it for their oxygen machine?
Man,
think
of the surprise on that guy's face when they showed up. Like,
I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have driven it to him, but it's little things like that if people knew, it would make a big difference. But how do you spend the money to get that story out there?
Right.
I can't take $100,000 to make a commercial to tell all about this stuff. So it's all word of mouth, and we rely heavily on social media for our advertising and all that.
Well, even if you did have the money to spend that, you think about how much more effective, because I'm betting if someone came to you and said, "Hey, Zach, here's $100,000 you can use for marketing. But if you don't want to use it for that, if you want to use it for anything else, you can use it for that."
It would 100% be used for something else. Keeping I have a box truck for the transportation program, a van that we use for that we use for everything, the transportation, the homeless veteran stand downs, the doing pickups. It's a Sprinter van, so we can put stuff in it.
Yeah.
Have two handicap vans. One's a 2009, one's a 2024. And I have two other vehicles two SUVs that were donated for the transportation program. Just keeping those vehicles on the road is expensive.
Right.
And I don't know how this happened, but somehow like July and August, all the registrations are due that month, those 2 months. I don't know how that worked out, but I'm just like, Jesus, we got to get all these vehicles inspected. Then we got to pay the registration and the taxes. I'm like, how did this happen? They're all in the same 2 months,
Yeah.
People don't realize how much it takes to run, a nonprofit, especially one that has the reach that we have. The
Right.
insurance, just liability insurance, because we build ramps. We have I have 2 volunteer teams that build ramps locally, Fuquay and Moore County. Having insurance for that, the insurance for the vehicles. The transportation has to have a separate insurance policy because we're basically a commercial transportation. We're taking people to appointments. The fuel, man, it adds up, and it's a struggle. But here we are,
Right.
When Mike Dorman passed away in 2021 in December, the board told me I was in charge and I would start, January 1st. I came in here and sat down and was like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't even know where to start. Like, I know the furniture program, I've done that, and my only goal was to not fail. And so I got everybody that had been, all the volunteers together, and was like, look, I need your help. Like I'm lost in the sauce right now. We're going to do this. We're going to make this work no matter what, but I need your help. So going back to having the right teams in place, the volunteer that was helping me, she was doing the scheduling and the applications for the furniture program. I was like, look, I need you to run this program. Like, I need you to be in charge of everything. And then another volunteer that's here 3 days a week, I was like, you've been helping us with the toy drive and the golf tournament. We do a big golf tournament is our main fundraiser. I need that to be yours. So I gave them ownership of it and was like, you know what to do. You know how to do it. It's yours. And that made a big difference. And then I had to learn how to fundraise because that was, but here we are. I mean, that was 2022 and we're halfway through 2026 and growing. So, it's from the volunteers that believe in the mission and us doing what we say we're going to do. You know, I really believe the transparency and letting the work show for itself is what keeps this organization going.
Well, it's like you said, you get the right people there and you're giving them authority, giving them ownership over it.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much there. You know, you got people that they, like you said, they don't realize how much it takes to run something like that. And, you know, it's so interesting because I think the other side of that is that people don't realize how much it takes for like you to run it, but they also don't realize how easy it is to support you guys, how little it takes to support you. You know, if everyone, you know, I was thinking about priorities here. Like if everyone was donating, like if everyone that went and got Starbucks every morning just said, you know what, once a month, I'm going to skip my Starbucks and I'm going to give that to some other organization. And really, they wouldn't feel that difference that much. They wouldn't, you know, one's going to be negatively impacted by that.
Yeah, but we started
you guys would be huge.
Yeah, we started a fundraiser to get monthly donations, predictable income, and $10 a month, you know, makes a big difference. You know, it gives us predictable income, so we know how much money we have coming in each month that we can pretty much depend on, and then go from there. You know, and it's not been as successful as I wanted it to, but then again, I don't have. And what got me on it was I heard another veterans nonprofit. I was at a gas station one morning, and the radio was playing at the gas station, and there was a big nationwide nonprofit that was asking for $10 a month. And I was like, that sounds like something we should do, you know, make a big difference. And we have people that do it every month, and it's $10 is nothing nowadays, you know.
Right.
But the more people that donate $10 a month, the more people we can help.
Right. Well, and that's where, like, I think if we think of it in our own terms of like, all right, if I gave $10 to you guys, like, all right, what's that gonna do? Nothing. But if collectively we work together and say, you know, we're all going to give $10 towards something.
Yeah.
That makes such a big impact. And that's what happens when we do things together. And when people start realizing that, when we start saying, hey, I'm going to actually give, I'm going to give something, even a little bit, and build the habit of doing that.
Yeah.
And share that to your friends, and not in a like, oh, look how great I am.
Yeah.
That I've done this, but just we share that and, you know, encourage other people, and we make that the norm.
Yeah.
Where giving is just what we do. Yeah. That would eliminate so many of the issues and the struggles that we have in society. And that's, you know, I don't know. I think people just do set the bar really high on themselves. And like,
well, you know, $10 buys a pack of toilet paper. We put toilet paper in all the care packages. $10 is shower curtain and rings. You know, $10 is gas to get a veteran to one of his appointments. $10 that helps us with the insurance for the vehicles, or goes towards tires on the box truck. You know, I mean, it's it all makes a difference. Like every dollar counts. And, you know, one thing I did learn from Mike Dorman, he was a great man. I never saw him treat somebody that donated $5 or $5,000 any different. You know, and
as it should be.
It's because it doesn't matter if $5 is what you can do. And you did it, that great. Thank you. That's $5 for us. That's going to go help veterans.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've tried to do also is make sure I thank everybody. If when people donate to us, they usually get a handwritten thank you note. That's one thing we do. We send thank you notes every year, every month to our donors, just to let them know that we appreciate it. And I think that helps.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, those little things make such a difference. And another thing that volunteers could do, is handwrite notes. Simple things that anyone can just get out and do. And you guys have so many opportunities for that.
Oh yeah.
So, we're getting close on time here. One of the things I always want to ask people is, what would your advice be to someone who's out there, if they're watching this and they've got this, idea that they want to help, they want to make a difference, whether it's starting their own thing in their own community, whether it's for veterans or not, or they want to go and they want to help another organization out like yours, and they're struggling with that, the fear of doing it. What would you say to them? Like, what do you think would be, like, what would you say to get them to start moving forward?
Just do it. Just get out there and do it.
Stop thinking about it, right?
Yep. It like I said, how to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Take the first step. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Have goals, but set realistic goals for what your time will allow. Because, a lot of people can't just, I was fortunate enough that I didn't have to make X amount of dollars to come to work at MMIA. If I told people what I made when I started out at MMIA, they wouldn't believe me, because, I can't believe I took a job for that amount of money. Set realistic goals and just do it, one foot in front of the other. Just make it happen. Every step you take is going to put you closer to your goals, and you're going to help people along the way. Tell your friends, find interested people to help buy into your goals, whatever it is, whoever you want to help, whatever the programs are. And stay focused on what you can do. Don't overextend. Like, we're at 4 programs now. I don't see us doing any other programs, because it would take away from what we're able to do with our established programs. We're able to do great things for the vets that we serve in those programs.
Yeah.
If we had more programs, it would dissolve that. So stay focused on what you want to help, and don't get overextended, and just go after it,
Yeah. I like that. Get out of your head, stop overthinking things, and just go.
Like Nike said, just do it.
That's right.
It's a struggle. Like, there's days that I'm like, are we going to make it? And then you help like the guy with the microwave, man. You see what a $50 microwave, how that changes somebody's life, and it makes it all worth it. It's a struggle. Like, starting a nonprofit, running a nonprofit is a struggle, but it's the most rewarding job I've ever had, and I don't see myself doing anything else.
Well, and last thing I want to say here is, I like what you said there at the end. It's remembering your why. It's when you're struggling. And, I think about, like, for Valorwell, when we started this, I remember there were so many days early on that I was praying to God to take something off my plate.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I can't handle all this. I can't do all the things I need to do. God, I need you to come down and take some of this off my plate. And and I've stopped asking that, because every time I did, every time I was like, man, I just can't have anything more. I can't keep up with what I'm doing. And I'd have someone call in like a crisis where they couldn't find help. And, maybe we didn't have any therapists in that state to see them at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I sit there and talk to them, and I might give them hours of my day, hours that I already didn't have enough of. And what was crazy is every time I did that, I went through and got caught up on like everything, or got back focused. Like that moment that you remember, all right, this is why we're here.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. It changes your outlook. It takes that like, I feel so beat down, to, all right, this is the stuff I can do, and I'm going to charge through.
Yep.
And
it's very, no matter if you're in the business of helping people, it's rewarding when you help people that need it. There's no amount of money from another job that'll give you that satisfaction of knowing you made a difference in somebody's life. That's what I tell people, every day, no matter what it is, we're making a difference in somebody's life, whether it's providing them with furniture, toys at Christmas, toilet paper for a homeless vet. That's a big deal. And it's you're making a difference in somebody's life every day.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and end with that. Let you get back to helping everyone that you guys are helping. And
my phone's been blowing up the whole time. I got about 15 calls to make when I get off of here. So,
well, so anyone watching, go check out Military Missions in Action in Fuquay,
Varina. Yep.
North Carolina.
Yep. On Facebook, Military Missions in Action, and Instagram, MMIA 27526.
Perfect.
Sign up for our newsletter, and if you can and you feel motivated, donate. Every dollar counts.
Yeah. Well, we'll put links and all that to the in the video, so check down the description, and you'll see the links there. So that way you can easily go check them out, follow, and show them the support they deserve.
Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, Zach.
It was good talking to you. Thank you.
You as well.
Right.
Bye.